Welcome back. So now we're going to talk about unconditional dreams and desires. So what exactly does that mean? So I'm sure you've heard the concept of unconditional love. So this conversation might help explain what that really means. The premise that I want you to understand is that everything you want, everything, is because you believe that if you have it or experience it or achieve it, you're going to feel the way you want. You're going to either feel good or at least better than you did before. There is never, ever anything that you want that you don't want because you believe it's going to make you feel something. So emotions are truly the number one and, in fact, only motivator. The only thing we really want is to feel good. We just put a billion different reasons why it has to be this way or this way or this way or this way in order for us to feel good. And so the way it ends up working is that we want to feel a certain way. And so we end up believing that we need this to be that way and this person to be that way and this experience to happen and this time to change and all of these different scenarios, the conditions of life. We believe the conditions of life must change in order for us to feel the way we want. And the reality is that this is absolutely not true. I know it might sound strange if you've never thought of it this way before, but it is the case that you do not need the conditions of your life to change in order to feel good. You can choose to feel good now. You can choose to focus on the positive. You can choose to be grateful. You can choose to stop a conversation, to stop watching something. You can choose to leave a situation. You can choose to live a different way. You do have that ability to choose to feel good no matter what is happening. Now, I'm not saying that it's a magic thing, you just snap your fingers and it changes. It takes practice to do this. But the reality of it is, you do not need a condition in order to feel the way you want, because you can have the unconditioned. You can experience the condition that you want just in your mind. So I'm going to give you a quick example just to show you that you can feel or have a sensation or experience of something in your body that has nothing to do with what you're actually doing in real life. And so imagine that I walked away and I came back and we're in the same room. So this would need to be happening in the same room. So imagine that I just walked in the door to wherever it is that you are, and I'm holding this plate full of humongous limes. And they're so pungent that when I walk by you holding the tray, you can smell them. And so I take out a knife and I cut into the lime and it starts squirting all over the place. And now you can really start to smell it. And so I slice it into little pieces and I bring you one and I hand it to you and you take it and you put it in your mouth. So imagine that you're putting the lime in your mouth. So then notice if you feel any sensations in your mouth, if you feel like you're salivating. And basically everybody reacts when I tell the story and their mouth starts salivating. Now, why is that? It's because your brain thinks that you're putting a lime in your mouth. And so what it's doing is it's sending the signal to your mouth to produce saliva, which it would need in order to break down the acid in the lime. But there is no lime. You're just imagining the lime. But the reality of it is that your brain does not know the difference. And so it's the same way with emotions. So I'm going to give you another example. Imagine that the phone just rang and you pick up the phone and it's like one of your favorite people on earth and they are giving you the best news that you have ever heard. Perhaps it's something that you've been waiting to hear, that you've always wanted to hear. And as they keep telling you this information, you can hear their excitement and you start to get excited and you just can't contain yourself and you start smiling and you almost can't sit still and you just want to stand up and put your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care because you're just so overwhelmed with excitement thinking about this amazing thing and you can feel it bubbling up inside and you can hardly contain yourself. And so now that you just did that, just imagine this phone call, ask yourself, do you feel better? Could you feel the excitement? Did you feel a genuine smile working its way into your face? Now, if you did, was there actually a phone call? No. Was there any real good news? No. It was just an imagination thing that I had you do with yourself, but yet you could feel it. And so this is the point that I'm trying to make. If there are things that you want in your life, and you believe that when you have them, you're going to feel good. What we challenge you to do is to identify the feeling that you're wanting and to practice feeling it, to be able to feel it in the unconditioned without the condition changing. There's no reason why you have to wait. If it's going to be a journey you have to go through in order to get there, why be miserable along the way? There's no reason that if you are reaching for a certain emotion like joy, you can't experience joy now. You don't have to wait. You need to stop waiting. And the best news of all is if you can experience the unconditioned of these things that you want in your life, and you can feel them before they happen, you actually create a pathway for yourself to get there easier, and it's more fun along the way. So we have an activity for you to do. First, go back through the ideas that you've come up with already for what it is that you want. Another way to do it is to just write down the most important aspects of your life and what you want. So for instance, like your home, your career, your family, your relationship, leisure activities, money. These are categories that matter to people. And so for each one, write down what it is that you want. How would you want these things to be in your life? And then the second question is, why do you want it? And in this situation, what I'm meaning is, what emotion is it that you think that you're going to feel as a result of having this thing that you want? And so what you need to do is come up with 5 to 10 feelings that you would associate with having this thing you want, because those feelings are truly the reason that you want it. And then after you've done it for each of these categories, go back through and circle any feelings or emotions that tended to show up multiple times in different categories of the things that you want. Also circle the ones that are the most important to you or that you feel the most intensely that you want. And so I'm going to give you a couple examples from my list so that you can get a sense for what I'm talking about. So one of the things on my list is financial abundance. A lot of people want financial abundance. Do you? So have you ever really asked yourself, why do I want that? Emotionally, why do I want that? How am I going to feel when I have financial abundance? And so for me, some of the words that came to me were, I would feel secure, I would feel certain, I would feel free, I would feel inspired and excited and carefree. So those are the words that represent financial abundance to me. And so can you feel and imagine a feeling of certainty? Can you imagine feeling inspired? Can you imagine what it feels like to feel carefree, nothing to worry about? Well, if you can imagine it and you can feel it by imagining it, there's no reason to wait for you to be financially abundant in order to feel those things. It's just silly. So of course, we want the financial abundance. We want to feel those things, but the point here is that you don't have to wait for it. So here's another example from my list. Health. I want to be healthy. Well, why do I want to be healthy? How would I feel to be healthy in my life? Well, I would feel limitless. I would feel alive. I would feel like I have choice of what to do. I would feel vibrant. And again, I would feel carefree. And so you'll see that carefree is a word on my health list, is also a word on my financial abundance list. So for me, the feeling of being carefree is a really important feeling that I am after in my life. And it actually popped up many times on my list. So that's a good example of what to look for. What are those feelings that really stand out? Because you're going to find that those things are what are truly driving you at your core. And the most important thing that you could ever do is to find ways, even if it's only in your mind, to be able to experience those feelings on a daily basis, regardless of what conditions are going on around you, because there's no reason to wait. You can have the unconditioned of your dreams right now.